Disclaimer: the video you are about to see has content that contains swearing, substance referencing, violence, and/or partial on-screen nudity. If you are a person under 13 years of age, do not watch this video by order of COPPA. In general, if you are over 13 but are sensitive, you may exit this video and find a nice wholesome video to watch. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey there guys, Jordan here. Well, here it is, the moment we've all been waiting for. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Elements of Justice Turnabout Theater Case 1, Part 2 of 3. And before, it used to be Part 1 of 2, but the original person who created the channel gave an update video explaining this information. If you want to know why, just look into one of his update videos and you'll understand. Now then, it's finally time. The trial is about to start. Now, if you haven't seen the last reaction video, or even the last video in general, I suggest that you go see that and understand what the trial is supposed to be about. Alright then, now let's see how it is. Oh, and one more thing, I'll be splitting this up into 2 parts because this episode is 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 50 seconds long. So I'm going to stop halfway and then I'll do a second part of this reaction video where I stop last. So let's enjoy the first part of this reaction video. Alright, and without further ado, here we go. February 12th, 9:20 a.m., Manhattan District Court. Defendant Lobby. Number 2. Ooh.
I never thought I'd come back to this world, let alone take on another trial.
You're telling me.
Come to think of it, I haven't set foot in a courtroom in general for a good while.
Yup.
Why's that?
Remember what Athena was talking about yesterday? That was our last case, and that was well over a month ago.
Whoa.
Well, I'm sure there's no need to worry. You were disbarred for 7 years like you said yesterday, but you've still taken on plenty of murder cases before and since, right? You
Yep.
have a lot of experience under your belt. Just because there's been a little bit of a hiatus doesn't mean you'll revert back to being a rookie.
She's right.
That's probably right.
Of course she is.
Pretty sure I felt like one several times throughout my career.
There's nothing wrong with a little refresher, though. Right, Apollo?
Sure. I'm pretty confident Mr. Wright's got this, though.
Alright.
Besides, I'd rather focus on making sure you're up to speed on things.
Hey, come on. I'm not a newbie anymore. I can keep up with everyone else, no sweat.
Athena, there's no shame in being inexperienced. We've all got to start somewhere.
Oh well, you live and you learn.
So cool! We're about to watch Daddy defend in court in a whole nother world with cute magical ponies.
Yup.
You can say that again. I can't contain my excitement.
None of us can.
Well, I'm happy to see that you're all enjoying yourselves. And thanks again, everyone. I really appreciate you being here today.
It's no problem.
Of course.
This certainly is going to be the experience of a lifetime, despite the circumstances. By the way, Twilight, there's something I've been meaning to ask you.
What is it, Apollo?
You mentioned that murder is nearly unheard of in Equestria. The first one to supposedly happen was for the case where Mr. Wright defended Rainbow Dash.
Yes.
How advanced can your criminal laws be if such serious crimes rarely, if ever, occur?
Oh, that's
Exactly.
true.
They're nearly identical to ours. I remember Twilight saying something like Equestria's judicial system was inspired by humans.
That's
Really?
right. I've read many books on both humans and human law. The human legal system has been refined through countless years of study and practice, and yet it is still evolving. That's why equestrian law is practiced very similarly, and what influenced the designs of nearly all of Equestria's courthouses.
Nice.
Well, imitation is just a serious form of flattery, as they say.
Yup.
Hey, boss.
What's up, Athena?
I was just wondering, who's going to be your co-counselor for the trial? I don't see anyone else who would be up for the task, and we don't have the right badges.
Oh, that's
I
right.
figured it'd be best to go with Twilight. She was my co-counsel during Rainbow Dash's trial, after all.
True.
But doesn't she need an equestrian attorney's badge to be allowed to stand in court? Nope. Since I'm a princess, I can stand in court without the need of a badge.
Oh, that's true.
Weren't you just a unicorn during Rainbow Dash's case? How could you be Mr. Wright's co-counsel if you weren't a princess?
Oh, yeah.
Well, since I was Princess Celestia's student at the time, she gave me special permission.
Ah, I see. Makes sense.
How Equestria worked. So we made an appeal to the Equestria High Council to allow me to be there to assist him.
Okay, fair
I'd
enough.
love to help out, Athena, but playing it safe for Miss Palmel's sake is our best option. With Twilight by my side, we've got someone who knows the rules of this world like the back of their hand. Hoof.
I gotcha, boss. Oh, speaking of Miss Palmel, she's here.
Hi, Coco. Hey, Rarity.
What's up with Coco all of a sudden? She seemed fine yesterday.
Good morning, Mr. Wright.
Morning, Rarity. What's wrong with Coco?
I'm not sure myself. I saw her being escorted here by the guards with this rather despondent look upon her face. It pained me to see her looking like that just before her trial, so I thought I'd steal her away from the guards with a little song and charm.
Oh, boy.
I'm hoping I could figure out what's been plaguing her mind, but I'm afraid I haven't been able to get a single word out of her.
This place is in some serious trouble if someone genuinely dangerous is ever trusted to guards like those. Hey, Coco. How are you holding up?
Oh, man.
It's been plaguing her mind.
This place is in some serious trouble if someone genuinely dangerous is ever trusted to guards like those. Hey, Coco. How are you holding up? Wow. She's really out of it today.
Wow.
The poor thing. The trial has her worried sick.
I guess that's understandable. It can't just be that, though. Can it?
Alright, Miss Palmel. You've got nothing to fear. You're innocent, and Daddy here will prove it. He'll show everyone that you had nothing to do with Overall Concept's murder.
That's the spirit. Coco?
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. I know how much you cared about him. I'm so sorry.
oh,
I didn't mean to. It's fine. Darling, there's something stuck in your mane.
huh?
What is that? It looks like... glitter?
Glitter?
Oh, sorry. I haven't had the chance to clean myself since I got arrested.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Coco! How dare they allow you to stay dirty in detention? Especially in your state? Why, that's horrible! Rarity, can you give me a second? I need to calm myself down before the trial begins.
Take your time.
Course, darling. Go lay on that couch over there and mellow out. It'll help, I promise. Well, you would know. Okay, Rarity. If you'll excuse me.
You go get some rest, Coco.
Overall Concept must have been very special to her.
I guess so.
Was. The two always seemed so happy together. If both of their letters to me were any indication, every pony who worked with them felt so too. It must be hard to lose such a good friend like that. I can't even imagine how she feels.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's something I wouldn't wish on anyone, and it only makes it worse that she's accused of murdering him. But that's exactly why we need to fight for her. It's the only way to get her out of this and bring her some peace of mind.
Right.
You're right, Phoenix.
As always.
Do you have any information on who we're up against?
Oh, yeah.
And the prosecutor?
Yeah, who is the
Yeah.
prosecutor?
Any idea who it's going to be?
I believe it's going to be Princess Celestia's nephew.
Wait,
She has a nephew?
nephew?
Prince?
Wait.
Yes. And yes. In fact, his name is Prince Blueblood.
Blue blood?
Papa's excuse for a stallion?
Rarity, please, inside voice. This is a courthouse.
Oh, right. I'm guessing you're still on bad terms with him then.
Bad terms? Oh, I've never met a stallion whom I've had such high hopes for, only to have them come crashing down. Of course I'm still on bad terms with him. And you're saying that he's the prosecutor?
Rarity, I'm sure he's just doing it for the experience.
Oh, of all the ponies it could have been, why him? I swear it's Celestia. You better keep that horse's mouth shut about my little Coco, or I will show him what it truly means to be a royal pain.
Okay, getting off.
Right.
How about you go join Coco on the couch to calm yourself down? She could use your company.
Yup.
Yes, you're right. Goodness, I cannot believe how mad that stallion makes me.
Just as dramatic as ever, isn't she?
Don't know the half of it.
Unfortunately, we do.
Almost rivals your cords of steel, Apollo.
For real. She's about as soft as a marshmallow at first glance, until you anger her and she comes at you with the fire and intensity of 1,000 suns.
Yeah.
So, you're saying that she turned into a roasted marshmallow? Now thinking about it, it makes me hungry. I wish I had some words with me.
Ay.
Twilight, what did you mean just now when you said this Prince Blueblood is doing this for experience? What could warn someone like him prosecuting a case?
Well, he is royalty. Like I said, he's probably using this murder trial as an opportunity to gain some trial experience. After all, if you're ever going to rule a kingdom in Equestria, you're going to need extensive knowledge on the law and how to uphold it. As a matter of fact, I've been studying a lot of law since I became a princess myself.
Good for you.
No kidding. How are you finding it?
Oh, it's been so enjoyable. I can't tell you how amazing it has been, learning about all the laws that are in place.
So, it's like an exam then. You study, then the trials you take part in test how much you've learned and what sort of knowledge they're after. Like the one this blue blood guy is taking part in today.
Is it embarrassing if that comparison makes me even more pleased that I'm doing it?
I certainly don't remember my law school experience being so fun. I'm envious.
So, based on the location of your castle, does that mean Ponyville is technically your kingdom?
I wouldn't exactly say
Wow. Didn't think
that.
about that.
That's where all my friends live, so I figured, why not have the castle there too? Again, the castle sort of grew, I mean, built itself there. I had no say in it.
Your castle built itself? Do I even want to know how that's possible?
Way to slip up there, Twy.
A lot has happened in the year and a half since you were here last.
You transformed into an alicorn, became a princess, and now you have your own castle that apparently built itself?
God damn.
My life was crazy, but your life really got turned upside down.
The trial is about to begin. Will the defendant and their attorney please enter the courtroom?
Alright.
As much as I'd love to talk about what's been happening in Equestria, we have a trial to take on. I hope you're ready, Phoenix.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Let's get to
Good
it.
luck, Mr. Wright.
We'll be cheering you on from the gallery.
Break a leg, Daddy!
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. All right. Twilight, let's head inside.
Right behind you, Phoenix.
Let's get started. February 12th, 9:30 a.m. Manhattan District Court. Courtroom number 2. Wow. Incredible. It looks just like how it did in the 3DS game, except the citizens are the characters in the show. Oh. I think I see someone in the front.
Court is now in session.
Oh my god. The judge? Oh man, I can't wait to see Phoenix's reaction when he sees who's back here as well.
For the trial of Coco Pamel, are the prosecution and defense ready?
The prosecution has not
Oh.
The defense is ready.
Y-
Your Honor!
I knew you'd be surprised to see me, Mr. Wright.
Oh man.
You? But... What?
Wait, why is the judge here?
Oh boy.
Wow. Hiya, Judge.
Mr. Justice and Miss Sykes? Is that you over there?
Don't forget me, Your Honor.
Oh, Miss Wright. It seems as though Mr. Wright's brought the whole gang along.
Oh man.
Right? What exactly is going on here?
Oh, did I forget to mention that I summoned the judge here again?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Sorry. There's just been so much going on. I guess it just slipped my mind. But hey, it is a nice surprise seeing him again, right?
Even the judge is more aware of what's going on here than I am. That's a new low.
Yup.
So, why did you summon him again? I thought you said Princess Celestia is the one who usually presides as the judge. Was this another decision made by the High Council?
No, I just thought you'd be more comfortable having a familiar figure presiding, much like before. So, I put in a request to summon him again, and the court agreed. Besides, your judge loves being in Equestria. He stayed a while after you left the last time, you know? Apparently, he really wanted to see the Summer Sun celebration. I knew he'd jump at the chance to come back.
Oh, that's
Right.
thoughtful of you, Twilight. I certainly do feel at home with him sitting up there. And I can't think of a judge more fair than him, if I'm being honest.
Oh, being here again brings back memories. I hope you all have as wonderful a time here as I did, Mr. Wright.
Well, they were kind of dragged along, so they had no choice.
Right.
If I may interject, may we cease this chit-chat and get on with the trial already?
Of course. My apologies, Mr. Prince Blueblood, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I am like no other prince in Equestria.
Good lord.
Oh, great. Another prosecutor who looks like they're going to ensure an unpleasant experience.
That being said, what are you supposed to be?
Me? What am I supposed to be? My name's Phoenix Wright. I'm Miss Pommel's defense attorney.
Ah, so it is you then. The famous Phoenix Wright, the human lawyer who served as the defense in the TS5 incident?
Five incident?
What?
Sounds like our legal system isn't the only human thing ponies imitated.
Oh boy.
The trial that took place a year and a half ago, following that unfortunate incident near Ponyville.
He must be talking about Rainbow Dash's trial. I suppose it must have been big news, considering the circumstances.
Yep.
I must say, it was an impressive victory, especially since you proved that there wasn't even a murder to begin with. Unfortunately for you, your defeat here is guaranteed, as this case could not be more open and shut.
Really?
Giving up before I bring the same shame and humiliation upon you that I brought upon the rest of the attorneys I have encountered. As a stallion of royal blood, losing to a commoner such as yourself is something I am simply incapable of doing.
Just ticking every box on how not to make a good first impression, aren't you, buddy?
Yup, pretty
Now,
much.
I think it's about time we got on with the trial. Will the prosecution please begin their opening statement?
Of course, Your Honor.
Here we go, Phoenix.
The crime took place in the Bridalway Theater, located in the heart of Manhattan, where the play Hinny of the Hills was being performed. I have a promotional poster for the play here.
Whoa. Any of the Hills poster added to the court record. Wow.
Oh, this looks interesting. I'll have to get a ticket to the next show as soon as the trial is over.
Unfortunately, Your Honor, that will be impossible. Due to the obviously unforeseen circumstances, all future showings at Bridalway Theater are on hold. And besides,
Yep.
the show in question was completely sold out 7 hours before the play even started. The last ticket was bought by the defendant around noon of that day. You'll be hard-pressed to find an opportunity to buy a ticket, let alone actually manage to see the play.
Right.
Well, that's a shame. I don't suppose there are any other sights in the city I could catch while I'm here?
I've heard that there'll be some sort of race here soon. suppose if you're still here, you could watch that.
I'm not really into watching races like all of the young people are these days. My brother is, though. He's been...
If you don't mind, Your Honor, I'd like us to get back to the case at Hoof.
Oh, yes, of course. My apologies. Please continue.
Being a pushover again, huh?
Thank you, Your Honor. The victim in this case is Overall Concept, who worked as the head costume designer for the theater. Allow me to present his autopsy report for your perusal.
Concept's autopsy report added to the court record.
It seems as though the victim was unconscious at the time of his death. It's at least comforting to know that he didn't suffer.
Indeed, Your Honor.
The victim was unconscious when he died. I'd better remember that detail.
As for the defendant in this case, that would be the victim's assistant, Miss Coco Pamel, who joined the theater several months ago. On that fateful night, Miss Pamel and Mr. Concept were in the dressing room working on various costumes as the play was being performed. This is likely how glitter found its way to the victim's forehooves, as stated in the autopsy report. Around 8:50 p.m., Miss Pamel attacked Mr. Concept in the dressing room. Attempting to save himself, Mr. Concept fled, but Miss Pamel gave chase. The victim ran up to the catwalk that runs above the stage, with the unsuspecting actor still performing below. It was on this catwalk that the defendant caught up to the victim and mercilessly attacked him once more, knocking him unconscious with a blow to the back of the head.
Yeesh.
In no time, she wrapped a noose around the unconscious victim's neck. With the other end of the rope tied to the catwalk's railing, she pushed his body off the edge and hanged him in front of a full house of 5,000 ponies.
Holy crap. Sir does sound like an open and shut case.
What a cruel and horrible way to die!
You can say that again.
I wholeheartedly agree, Your Honor.
Hold on a second. This is just pure speculation. What makes you think my client is the killer? She and the victim were good friends.
And you think the fact that they were friends is enough to let her off the hook? Nonsense. I expected better from you, human.
If your case has as much evidence as your opening statement, it might as well be enough. I expected more than just pure speculation from you, Mr. Blueblood.
Prince Blueblood. And for your information, none of this is, as you say, pure speculation. Not only do I have physical evidence to back up my claims, but there is decisive witness who saw the whole thing take place.
That witness he's talking about must be Playwright.
Yeah.
And allegedly, he saw Coco chasing Overall up to the catwalk.
Right.
Let's hope he doesn't say anything too conclusive before you even get a chance to fight back.
Hope
Please
not.
call this witness to the stand, Prince Blueblood.
Of course, Your Honor. Witness, state your name and occupation for the record.
The name's Playwright. I'm the director of Broadway Theatre. My job is to make sure that all of my plays are nothing short of masterpieces.
Right.
Your passion for the craft is duly noted, witness. Now, is it true that you saw the defendant chasing the victim 2 nights ago?
Yes, it is. I couldn't stand their loud hoof steps. I was worried that they were going to interrupt my play, you see. This performance was the best one yet.
It truly is a shame that your play was interrupted by such a horrific tragedy. Mr. Playwright, I would like for you to please testify as to what you saw on the night of the murder.
It would be my pleasure.
This is it, Phoenix.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Alright, let's see. Witness testimony. What I saw.
I was in the left wing of the stage, watching my play being performed. Suddenly, I saw Mr. Concept being chased by Miss Pommel up the catwalk. I tried to ignore the disturbance they were causing, but then I saw Mr. Concept hanging right above center stage. I ran up to the catwalk immediately and saw Miss Pommel looking down from where Mr. Concept fell. As much as I hate to believe it, Miss Pommel must have been the one who killed him. I can't see anything else that would suggest otherwise.
So the defendant really was chasing the victim.
Yes, I have no doubt in my mind.
You might not, but I do. Besides, you can't pronounce Coco Pomel's name properly.
Yep.
He seems pretty confident.
Don't they all? Anyway, all we need to get the ball rolling is a contradiction in his testimony.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright, let's get to it. Cross-examination.
I was in the left wing of the stage, watching my play being performed.
Hold it! What was this play about?
It's about a mare named Hinny. She's an orphan who's determined to find her parents, who she was separated from at birth.
Oh? How'd they get separated?
Well, it's an incredible tale.
Objection!
What?
Mind? Some of us are still planning to see this play when the showings resume. How dare you try to spoil it for me? Not to mention, the plot is absolutely irrelevant to this case.
You're one to talk.
My apologies. I just love talking about this story.
Aw, but I wanted to know how it all ends.
So, you said you were watching from the left side of the stage. Didn't the chase happen on the right side, though?
Oh, are you referring to it as the house left wing? In that case, no, I was on the other side.
But you just said you were on the left side.
Do you know anything about the performing arts?
Kinda? I mean, I was in the art department in college. I actually wanted to be a stage actor myself.
You? Trust me, you wouldn't last a day in the business. I can tell.
Yeah, thanks for the advice on a career choice I gave up on nearly 15 years ago.
Anyway, since you're obviously on the ignorant side when it comes to stage terminology, let me give you a little lesson. They were running through the stage left wing, but it's also called the house right wing. You call it stage left if you're looking at the audience from the stage, and you call it house right if you're looking at the stage from the audience. I just tend to go with the stage terms because I'm usually behind the curtains.
So is it left or right?
If it makes it easier for you, I'll go with your version and call it the right side. Does that make you feel better?
Yes, actually. Anyway, why watch from the side? Wouldn't directors normally watch from the audience?
You're right. Many directors do tend to watch from the audience, but I like to be up close and personal during a performance. I want to make sure that my performers are at the top of their game.
Really?
Saying that you aren't confident in your actors to give it their all?
Oh, of course not! My performers are among the best in the business! Or they are now, at least. I just take a few extra precautions to make sure that my plays are absolute perfection.
I see. So, no mistakes at all then?
Not one. Everything went flawlessly up to the second act. We were on track for a perfect performance if it wasn't for what was happening backstage. Suddenly, I saw Mr. Concept being chased by Miss Pommel up the catwalk.
Hold it! You saw Miss Pommel chasing the victim? Weren't you watching the stage for any potential screw-ups from your actors?
Yeah, that's
I had
true.
no choice but to look. Their obnoxiously loud hoof steps were distracting me from watching my play. It made me want to find whoever it was and scream at them, but it was during the show, so I had to keep quiet. I did complain to my stage manager, though. He was standing right next to me during both acts of the play.
His stage manager was with him. I suppose that gives him a solid alibi then.
Right.
Were there any breaks during the play?
Yes, one. A 15-minute intermission between acts 1 and 2.
And what were you doing during that time?
Overseeing the stage hooves work. They had a lot to do to get ready for the second act, you see.
What did this work entail?
Well, they had to completely clear the stage of all the props, as well as any debris that would cause problems for the actors on stage. Mainly tripping hazards.
Okay.
What time was all of this happening?
The intermission started at around 8 o'clock and it ended at 8:15. The second act would have run from then until 9 o'clock if Overall hadn't been murdered.
Did you see Overall at all during the intermission?
Actually, I did. He came on stage briefly to discuss something with me, and then he left right before the intermission ended. He said he and his assistant had to start working on coating a new sheet of fabric and paint.
What did you two talk about?
That's a private matter. It has nothing to do with this case, I assure you.
You're not the one who gets to make that judgment, Mr. Playwright. Tell us what he wanted to talk to you about. Remember, you're under oath.
He's right.
Witness, please tell us what you discussed with the victim.
It was just something related to the fabric, that's all.
The fabric?
Huh?
Yes, I asked him to make a special fabric for the next show we were planning. He wanted to confirm the details with me.
That must be the special fabric he told Rarity about in his letters to her. Did you see him again after that?
Not until the chase, no.
Even though the two of them met, it would have been before the time of death. I seriously doubt anything could have been done to throw that off, given the state of the crime scene. I guess this means Playwright can't be the killer. And when did the chase occur again?
It was near the conclusion of the play. I'd say it was probably around 8:50 p.m.
The time of death is estimated to be between 8:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. This all lines up perfectly with the prosecution's case.
Which way did you look when you noticed the victim and my client?
To the right, of course.
So is the stagehouse direction thing still applied here?
Forget it. I'll just show you on the diagram. I was watching the stage from this side, and I looked in this direction to see what was causing all the ruckus.
So, you were facing the dressing room then?
Yes.
How exactly did you know it was them? Isn't the backstage dark during the play?
Yes, but not pitch black. I was able to make out their silhouettes. Not to mention, they were the only two ponies who were on that side of the stage.
On that side? Does that mean there was someone else on the other side of the stage?
Yes, the stage hooves I mentioned before. They were all positioned at the right, or rather left if we're going by house terms, wing of the stage.
How long have they been there?
They were there throughout the entire first act. During the intermission, they came on stage to clean and prepare for Act 2. Then, they returned to the left wing for the second act.
In that case, what brought you to the conclusion that Coco was chasing Overall? Couldn't it have been one of the stage hooves that left their post?
Objection! Sorry, human, but that's impossible. The stage hooves were all interrogated after the incident. They claimed that not a single one of them left the right wing during the second act. I assume your next proposal is going to be that all of the stage hooves were in league with one another and plotted to murder Overall Concept together?
That seems unlikely. We better look for other possibilities. No, it isn't.
Pity. I was looking forward to putting you down even more.
But I would like Mr. Playwright to clarify exactly how he knew the figures he saw were Coco and Overall.
It was pretty dark, but I could make out a little of their faces. Miss Pommel looked a little scared yet determined. She was chasing a stallion who was running for help after all. As for Mr. Concept, he looked very angry.
Angry?
Hey, I don't blame him. He'd just been attacked. By his partner, no less.
I'd be more scared than angry if some pony was attacking me.
Good point. Let's see what other little tidbits we can get out of Playwright. Maybe he'll let something slip that we can use later on.
I tried to ignore the disturbance they were causing, but then I saw Mr. Concept hanging right above center stage.
Hold it! There was a disturbance?
The hard hoof steps from them on the wooden floor were already bad enough. Mix that with the rattling catwalk and that loud clang. That's enough to ruin a play as it is. Not to mention that horrific hanging that happened not even a minute after they ran by.
How did you react to his death?
How do you think? Just like every pony else who saw it. Scared, horrified, distraught. My play was ruined, and one of my employees was killed. I wanted to find the ruffian who would dare commit such a heinous act. So I went up to that catwalk, and I was shocked at what I found. I ran up to the catwalk immediately and saw Miss Pommel looking down from where Mr. Concept fell.
Hold it! And how did Miss Pommel appear when you saw her there?
She looked unfocused, as if she couldn't believe what she was seeing. As soon as I saw her, I could tell. Miss Pommel pushed Mr. Concept off the catwalk with the noose that had been prepared.
Wait a minute. You're claiming that the noose had been prepared before the chase?
What?
Honestly, just look at the poster. You can see it right there as plain as day.
Oh.
I can see right through you, human. You were planning on asking, why would the defendant have prepared a noose on the catwalk if she was never planning to go up there? An argument befitting a monkey such as yourself.
Oh, shut up.
He's quick on his feet. So, this noose was already lying on the catwalk at the time of the crime.
That's right. It was supposed to be used during the climax of the play, but I certainly didn't plan for that kind of climax.
If it makes you feel better, it's a twist ending no one will ever forget.
True that.
When exactly was this noose prepared?
It was during the intermission. That was another task the stage hoops had to complete before the second act, on top of clearing the catwalk of any debris. I can assure you it was done flawlessly. I went up there just as they were finishing to check it myself. The noose was ready, and the catwalk was spotless. From that point on, the stage hoops were positioned on the left side of the stage, and I was on the right side with my stage manager.
Did the stage hoops report anyone going up to the catwalk during the second act?
They did not. Along with none of them leaving their positions, not a single one has made mention of seeing any pony go up or down the stairs, leading to the catwalk after the second act had begun, even after the murder had occurred.
So, it's a classic locker room murder then. Are you sure that you saw no one else while you were up there?
I'm certain. No one else was on that catwalk besides Miss Pommel and myself. She was standing right above where Mr. Concept was, pushed down from.
Did you see anything else on the catwalk at all?
Well, there was a small pile of glitter and a glitter-stained fabric roll next to Miss Pommel, but I didn't pay them much attention, really.
Glitter-stained fabric roll? Huh. When we went to investigate the theater yesterday, we only saw the pile of glitter.
Oh.
That would be because the police already removed it for examination. I have it right here. It was found exactly where the witness said it was in his testimony.
Empty fabric roll added to the court record.
I say, Prince, do my eyes deceive me, or does that fabric roll have several splinters sticking from it?
It does indeed, Your Honor. It would appear as though this roll has seen its fair share of use over the years.
Something about that fabric roll doesn't sit right with me. And what did you do after you found Miss Pommel?
Well, I had to make sure she didn't try to get away, so I stayed on the catwalk and called out to my stage manager standing below to cancel the play and call for the police. They arrived relatively quickly and arrested Miss Pommel right where I found her.
But how did she respond to you? You must have said something to her when you walked up there, right?
We didn't actually say a word to each other.
Huh?
What?
Miss Pommel just started crying. A lot. I felt bad for her, but I was certain she was the one who murdered Overall Concept. So instead of asking her anything, I just kept watch and let her be until the police arrived.
A classic case of crocodile tears to garner sympathy. It's what any criminal would do to make themselves appear innocent. Your directing skills must have helped you make that flawless judgment. Good on you, witness.
Thanks. Although I have to give her credit, she sure made them look real.
That's because they were real. She had just lost a friend, and the first thing you assume is that she's the one who murdered him? I'd be upset too, if I were in her horseshoes.
Yep.
As you can see, this witness has given a remarkably solid testimony. I do hope you'll spare us all any further embarrassment, human.
A solid testimony? Well, wait until you see the crack in it, as I'm about to split it wide open.
Any closing remarks, witness?
As As much as I hate to believe it, Miss Pommel must have been the one who killed him. I can't see anything else that would suggest otherwise.
Objection! Are you
Oh,
absolutely sure about that last part, witness?
Yes, nothing else was out of place.
Well, if you ask me, that's far from true.
What? Are you calling me a liar?
Not necessarily. It could be that you simply failed to take something into account.
I'm sorry?
He failed to take something into account, you say? Humor me then. What is it you claim the witness did not give proper consideration?
That would, of course, be this fabric roll.
The fabric roll?
huh?
Mr. Playwright, when you saw Coco and Overall run by, were either of them holding anything?
If they had been, I would have mentioned that in my testimony. I'm not in the habit of making such a simple mistake as that.
In that case, how does the prosecution intend to account for this?
Stop talking in riddles, defense. What is it that you're trying to say?
Playwright has stated that he did not see Miss Pommel or the victim holding the fabric roll during the chase. We've also established that no one else went up or down the catwalk from the time the second act started to when Playwright ascended to the catwalk after the murder. The testimonies of both Playwright and the stage hooves confirm this. If this is true, then where in the world did the fabric roll come from?
Oh,
That's right!
no way. Yeah, where did it come from?
Nice one, Phoenix.
Our first contradiction of the day. Now, let's start turning this case.
Objection!
Huh?
Is that all you've got, feeble lawyer?
What do you mean? This is a serious contradiction.
I have to agree with the defense here. How could the fabric roll end up on top of the catwalk if neither of the parties that went up there were carrying anything?
I believe I have an explanation, Your Honor.
Then please go right ahead, Prince Blueblood.
Witness, when you saw the victim being chased by Miss Pommel, how far ahead was he?
Well, he'd already started climbing up the catwalk, so pretty far. If I had looked a second later, I probably would have missed him entirely.
And there you have it.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not
Then allow
following
me
either.
to explain in a manner that even a commoner such as yourself can follow. The fabric roll was brought up to the catwalk by overall concept. Since he
What?
was ahead of Miss Pommel, and was already partly up the stairs to the catwalk by the time the witness took a glance at them, it would make perfect sense as to why he would miss this detail.
That does seem to explain it. I imagine it would be rather difficult to see something like that given what was going on, especially in the dark.
I couldn't agree more, Your Honor.
Well, there goes that contradiction. Now what?
Oh, great.
Don't give up yet, Phoenix.
Twilight?
Huh?
I think we still have some room to maneuver. There's something that Blueblood hasn't established yet that demands an explanation.
You're right. Good thinking, Twilight. Prosecutor Blueblood.
Prince, please.
Prince Blueblood. There is still something vital to this case that you've yet to establish.
And that would be...
A clear motive. It's been mentioned before that the victim and the defendant were very close friends. What makes you think that my client, of all ponies, would want to kill him?
That's true.
Oh, you really want to know? I'm afraid you'll regret asking that question, human lawyer. Your Honor,
Yes, Prince Blueblood?
the prosecution would like to call the defendant herself to the stand.
What?
Objection! What are you planning to have her testify about?
Don't worry, it's nothing she'll need to plead the fifth for. All she needs to do is tell us about her living situation.
What?
Huh?
How is that relevant to this case?
Prince Blueblood, I too fail to see how the defendant's living situation could possibly be of any use to us.
If you'll allow me to present this testimony, Your Honor, I guarantee I will be able to establish its relevance to the case at hand. Unless, of course, the defense has so little faith in his own client that he's frightened he'll lose if she testifies.
How dare
If that's the case, I can request that this trial be brought to a swift resolution if you'd like. The prosecution has already made it abundantly clear that the defendant is the only one who had the opportunity to murder the victim. These extra bits of testimony and evidence will only serve to chip away at your fragile ego.
Damn you!
He has even more evidence. If we could see that, then perhaps we could use it to turn this trial around. But first, we're gonna have to get through this testimony.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you wish to have your client testify? It could be very harmful to your case if Prince Blueblood can establish the relevance he is claiming.
Do note that should you choose not to have her testify, I will call for a ruling.
He's thought of everything.
This trial will end here and now.
Phoenix, what do we do? If we don't let Coco testify, we're going to lose this trial.
Crap, she's right.
We'll just have to allow it. It's not like we have much choice.
But what if she says something that makes things even worse for us? We can't afford to take any more damage to our case.
I know it's risky, but Blueblood said he still had some more evidence against Coco. If we can force it out of him, we should still be able to save her. The defense agrees to the prosecution's request, Your Honor. Let's hear the defendant's testimony.
You've dug your own grave, human attorney.
Screw you.
Very well. Let the defendant take the stand.
Please state your name and occupation for the record. Defendant, quit your useless pouting and state your name and occupation.
Don't you dare yell at my friend, you pompous jerk!
Order! Order in the court! Will the pony in the audience please refrain from screaming at the prosecution?
Rarity, now's not the time.
Yeah.
My name is Coco Pomel, and or I guess was the assistant costume designer at Broadway Theater.
Now then, please testify about your current living arrangements in as much detail as you can manage.
Okay.
Poor Coco. I hope this isn't going to be too much for her.
Witness testimony. Friendship with Overall.
Ever since I started living on my own, I've been staying at various hotels across Manhattan. I've never been that wealthy, so that was all I could manage until I met Overall. He took me under his wing as an apprentice, and even offered to let me live with him in his apartment. I brought as much joy to him as he did to me, it seems. I don't know what I'm going to do now that he's gone.
Oh, what a tragic story. I think I might be tearing up.
Don't be fooled, Your Honor. This is merely her psychological manipulation at work. She may appear to be grieving on the outside, but on the inside, she's deviously dancing in delight.
Objection! Your Honor, this is slander!
Objection sustained. Prince Blueblood, I will not allow comments like that in my court.
You commoners and your bleeding hearts.
Now, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Coco didn't mention any of this to me yesterday. I wonder why not. No use thinking about it now. I just have to focus on how to get Coco out of this.
Right. Cross-examination.
Ever since I started living on my own, I've been staying at various hotels across Manhattan.
Hold it! You've never had a place to call your own.
No, everything I've ever had I owe to those who were there to support me. Rarity, Overall, my parents, and even my old mentor.
Your old mentor? Is this the pony we were talking about yesterday? The one who always said it's every pony for themselves in the big city.
Yes, her. I quit being her assistant several months ago and took up a job at the theater, thanks to Rarity.
You don't sound too happy about that.
Oh no, of course I'm grateful to Rarity for giving me such a huge opportunity. But
what?
it doesn't change the fact that I need her to do it for me. Just once in my life, I'd like to achieve something by being delivered to me on a silver platter.
That's true.
Something I at least played some sort of major role in.
I see. Then perhaps you...
Objection!
Gah!
I grow weary of your stalling tactics, human. You are her attorney, not her therapist. You're here to cross-examine the defendant, so I suggest you get on with it.
I wonder how much effort it takes him to be that unpleasant.
It's best not to know.
Please continue with the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
I've never been that wealthy, so if that was all I could manage until I met Overall...
Hold it! Did you really have so little money that you could barely afford a place to live?
Yes, especially after I quit being an assistant to my mentor. She always made enough for both of us with the designs she sold.
What was that she was about to say? And what about when you became an assistant costume designer at Bridalway? Did you make more money then?
No, I was only an assistant, and an apprentice at that. The director, playwright, didn't trust my skills enough to give me any work worth paying much for. If it wasn't for Overall, I'm sure I would have had to quit that job for a better paying one elsewhere.
So, Overall was able to support you and himself?
Yes, he was paid handsomely as the head costume designer of the biggest theater in Equestria. Not only that, his designs fetched pretty high prices outside the theater as well.
I see.
Well known?
Of course he was.
How did he get to be that famous?
Well, I can only tell you what I heard from him, but apparently, after his parents passed away a couple of years ago, he fell into a rather deep depression.
Yeesh.
His only family, and his only source of encouragement, you see. He thought about giving up on his dream to become a designer. However, he soon realized he'd be betraying his parents' hopes for him if he did, and so he poured himself into his work. He slaved day and night to create design after design, and finally, he decided to enter a contest, one that would essentially guarantee a successful career in design should he win. And he did. Afterwards, his designs became well known all across Equestria, and he has since worked at Bridalway Theater as his head costume designer.
What a touching story.
Wow. Overall must have been one strong stallion to not only overcome his parents' deaths, but also achieve his lifelong dream.
He was. If only he hadn't passed away himself, then maybe he could have helped me.
Well, maybe if you didn't kill him, he could have done so. You've no one to blame but yourself, defendant.
No, I didn't!
Let's continue with the testimony, shall we?
Don't worry, Coco. I'm gonna get you out of this.
He took me under his wing as an apprentice, and even offered to let me live with him in his apartment.
Hold it! Coco, how come you didn't tell me about any of this yesterday?
Yeah, that's right.
Yesterday in the detention center, when I asked you about your relationship with Overall Concept, this is what you said to me.
It's nothing too serious, if that's what you're thinking. We were just good friends who like working together. He's even teaching me how to design better so I can one day make a design of my own for another play.
Yeah, she did say that.
At the time, I took that to mean you were nothing more than co-workers. Was I wrong when I made that assumption? Coco? Coco!
What?
Did you purposely mislead me into believing you two were connected by nothing more than your work?
Maybe.
Oh, Coco.
Because I was afraid that you wouldn't take my case otherwise.
What?
What? Well, why would you think that?
Yeah, why?
Uh-oh. I don't like the sound of that. What in the world is Coco hiding from me?
I brought as much joy to him as he did to me, it seems. I don't know what I'm going to do now that he's gone.
Hold it! That's what every pony keeps saying. You two seem to get along so well. First Playwright, and then even Rarity said that you told her how happy Overall made you feel in your letters to her.
Yeah, we were really great friends. Everyone in the theater knew that.
And that's exactly why I'm so puzzled.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You just said that you were afraid I wouldn't take your case if I knew the truth about your living arrangements prior to today. Coco, you must have known that I have heard nothing but positive comments about your relationship with the victim from those who knew you both. So why would you think I would hesitate if I knew you two were living together?
Yeah, why?
Oh, come now, attorney. The answer is so obvious, I'm surprised it's taken you this long to realize it.
If you know the reason, why not just say so already? Weren't you trying to establish some sort of motive with this testimony? Let's hear it then.
Come on, spill it.
Well, I would like the court to take a look at this.
What is this, Prince Blueblood?
It's a document that recognizes both Coco Pamel and Overall Concept as domestic partners. The two entered into this partnership not long after they began living together.
Domestic partners?
How is that relevant?
My attorney. Are you not aware of one of the primary aspects of a domestic partnership?
Sorry. It's, not my area of expertise. Sadly.
Ugh.
And you call yourself a lawyer? What a joke. Very well, I shall explain.
Please
If a
do.
partner passes away intestate, that's without leaving behind a will for you uninformed commoners, when they are in a domestic partnership, as Mr. Concept did, their partner will receive all of their assets.
What?
Oh. Oh, no!
Oh no.
Now you finally get it. That is why this poor, underpaid assistant costume designer murdered one of the most wealthy and well-known designers in Equestria.
Oh, Coco, why didn't you say anything? You should have said that when he visited you yesterday.
Order! Order in the court! I must admit, that certainly sounds like an incredibly plausible motive for murder.
Of course it is, Your Honor, because it's the truth.
Coco, why did you hide this from me? How am I supposed to recover from this?
Phoenix, what are we supposed to do now? This motive, it's almost too perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it definitely didn't help that Coco kept this hidden from us all this time. I had no way to prepare for this.
Well, you have to say something. Fight back. Otherwise, Coco will be found guilty.
Phoenix, you gotta do something.
The defendant was being supported very well by the victim. She didn't need to steal his money.
Objection! Did I ever say she was after his money specifically?
What do you mean?
Recall what I said, attorney. She would inherit all of Overall Concept's assets. Assets, attorney. Like, for example, all of his fabrics and designs.
Gah.
Of course, the money she would inherit would be a nice bonus, and no doubt added fuel to the fire, but what Coco Pamel was really after were the victim's designs.
Why? Why would she need those?
During our investigation, we discovered that Miss Pamel had entered a fashion competition. The very same competition the victim himself entered a couple years ago.
He's not suggesting.
Just to clarify exactly what this contest is, it's a fashion competition where the winner receives the honor of being recognized by the most well-known designers in the industry. While not particularly large, it is very prestigious, needing several background checks to even enter. Winning this contest is a big boost to one's career, as you can imagine.
Twilight?
What is it, Twilight?
I don't know. Something about that strikes me as important. I just can't put my hoof on it.
It goes without saying that a contest such as this would draw in several other keen fashion designers looking to rise to the top. With this much competition stacked against her, Miss Pommel was not confident enough in her abilities to win the contest.
And what brought you to that conclusion?
Yeah.
The defendant herself admitted as much. When we interrogated her about the contest, she told us that she did not feel confident about her chances of winning.
Then surely Overall would have helped Miss Pommel in making designs, or at least guided her.
Possibly. However, it's against the rules to seek direct help from Sempony, who has already won the contest. It's a preventative measure against copying previous victors' work with minor alterations.
But she was learning from him. I'm sure Miss Pommel had the ability to do just fine in the contest.
Her actual level of competence is irrelevant. What matters is how she felt about her prospects of winning. Besides, I'm not finished, attorney.
What do you mean?
There's a special fabric the victim was making, as mentioned earlier by the previous witness. He was creating this fabric in secrecy for an upcoming play.
So why is this special fabric important in this case?
You should have connected the dots by now. Considering that Miss Pommel and Mr. Concept lived together for a number of months, she naturally would know about this special fabric. And just like you said, Miss Pommel was learning from him, so this was to her advantage.
You're really accusing Miss Pommel of cheating in this contest?
Oh God, he is.
Contest and betraying Overall Concept's trust.
And that's why...
Looks like you finally realized it. That is exactly why the defendant murdered Overall Concept. It was her chance at stealing his designs and passing them off as her own.
Oh no.
If you have something to say, then by all means, say it.
On the night of the murder, the victim was working on that very fabric. This, too, we heard from Mr. Playwright. That was probably what set the defendant off. Upon seeing the fabric, she made up her mind, once and for all, to murder the victim. She attacked him in the dressing room, but failed to land a strike. The victim fled out of the room with a fabric roll in his mouth, likely taken for the purposes of self-defense, with Miss Pommel hot on his trail. The two were spotted by Mr. Playwright as they made their way up the stairs to the catwalk. Finally, as Overall Concept reached the top, he tripped, dropping the fabric roll. The defendant caught up to him, grabbed the roll, and proceeded to knock him unconscious. Afterwards, she wrapped the rope that was laying on the catwalk around the victim's neck and threw him over the edge of the rail, finally killing him.
Oh no.
If it weren't for Mr. Playwright immediately coming up the catwalk after the murder, she may have gotten away with it. But she can't hide from her crime now, can she, Mr. Wright? And to think, this incredibly selfless stallion was planning on proposing to Coco, and she stole his life away because of her own selfish desires.
What?
No.
Propose?
Prince Blue? What do you mean?
During our inquiries regarding Overall Concept and Miss Pommel's relationship, many ponies employed at Bridalway Theater commented on how much he cared about her. Apparently, he often said that being together with her made him even happier than when his parents were still alive. They mentioned that he was going to propose next week, after another play. He even ordered this custom ring to give to her. I have it right here, Your Honor. The police found it while they were investigating his apartment.
Holy crap. Engagement ring added to the court record.
He was going to propose to me?
Oh my god.
Just how cruel you really are. You took advantage of an innocent stallion's kindness for your own selfish gains. Killed him in the process. Mares like you are corrupting our good-natured society of Equestria. It's despicable. Don't you agree, ponies of the gallery? How could she do something like that?
After everything that kind stallion did for her.
I never thought ponies could be so evil.
Order! Order in the court! My word!
looks are very deceiving. And what better example of that than this heartless, soulless excuse of a man?
How dare you spew such poisonous lies! Coco would never do that to a stallion who cared about her. Why, I ought to come over there and tear your cold little heart out for that!
Whoever that is out there, please refrain from shouting, or else you will be removed from the court!
Rarity, I get that you don't like this guy, but I need you to keep quiet if I'm going to properly help Coco.
Yeah.
Self-defense? Anything you want to say to counter my claims? Or have you decided that you suffered enough humiliation?
Come on. There's gotta be something I can say to this. But he's absolutely tarnished Coco's image to the rest of the court. Where am I even supposed to begin this uphill battle?
It seems as if the defense has no further objections. In that case, I think it's about time for me to pass my verdict. Any closing remarks, Prince Blueblood?
Uh-oh.
You human attorney, you should have saved yourself from putting on this pathetic display when you had the chance. Your Honor, please proceed.
No! I can't let it end like this!
Very well. This court finds the defendant, Coco Pamel.
Oh no.
Objection!
Huh?
Who was that?
Twilight.
Your Honor.
Twilight?
Prosecutor Blueblood, I want you to clarify something for me.
Prince
Blueblood, you said Coco saw the special fabric on the night of the murder, and that's what prompted her to go through with her plan to kill Overall.
Excuse me? You are to address me as...
Is that what you're claiming or not?
Yes, that is what I am claiming. What of it?
Can you please show us the fabric you're talking about?
Surely you must have seen it for yourselves. It was left sitting in the dressing room. But if you insist on seeing it again, I had it brought into court today. Here it is. Are you happy?
Huh! Just as I had thought.
Huh?
What is that supposed to mean?
I believe Mr. Wright can answer that for me.
Oh. Hey, she's right.
Twilight.
Really saved his
The
ass.
fabric you presented to the court is not the special fabric that Overall made.
What? No, it has to be. Twilight confirmed it when we asked him. This fabric is what Overall was commissioned to make for the theater.
Now let me rephrase my response. True, that is indeed the special fabric Overall was working on for the theater that night. However, the fabric that you presented is currently incomplete!
Whoa.
What?
Holy crap, he's right.
Order! Order! Prince Blueblood, what is the meaning of this? I find it hard to believe that the defendant would have murdered the victim for a roll of incomplete fabric.
Well, that certainly would be something. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to stop right here. I'm sorry, even though it is getting good, I can't go for over 2 hours because it will be a bit tedious. So, I'll see you in part 2